Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Boldly Go, Drinking, a product of the Wednesday Night Gentleman. This is a show dedicated to talking about and reviewing the latest Star Trek episodes as they come out. As a warning, this show contains a lot of spoilers, so consider yourself warned. Today we will be talking about Star Trek Discovery, Light and Shadows. I am your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is Midget Radio, my murderous socialist friend.
Hello.
Hello, Midget Radio. How are you?
I'm still doing fine, Tactic Angel. How are you?
I don't know why you would say still. We haven't talked in weeks. I'm doing pretty okay. I was about to say refilled. I have filled for the first time a glass with
for the first time.
The Russell's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Clearly filled it for the first time.
For the first time.
No problem getting those words out. But
I's not drunk. Stop it. This is 45% whiskey, 10 years old.
God damn.
We'll see how it goes.
Man, I am curious about that drink. I am drinking the Oktoberfest now.
Okay. Well, it's a little late for October, but, you know.
I know it is. I know it is. The Kilt Lifter, man. The Kilt Lifter kind of, I don't know. I really like that brew. But now I want to change it up. Drink some Oktoberfest.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we will be talking about Light and Shadows. The episode starts out, amazingly enough, with a voiceover from God's gift to the universe herself, Michael Burnham. She's got to go to Vulcan to see her mom because her mom knows all sorts of stuff that her exceptionally intelligent and successful father clearly doesn't. Mm-hmm. That leaves the crew of the Discovery to do things around Saru's planet that don't involve Burnham for once. As it turns out, a time rift opens up, which seems like a waste of time for now, but I'm sure is going to be super important in the future. Mm. I think it's important to understand before we really start talking about this episode that at some point during this episode, Stamets literally stares you in the face, the camera, you, the viewer, and says, "You cannot understand this plot if you do not have hamster DNA."
Yeah.
And maybe that's been the problem all along.
Oh, God.
Am I wrong?
Tactic Angel, this show is starting to give me anxiety a little bit. Like, it's a kind of weird...
Wait a second. Is anxiety like a made-up word for... for the...
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a word for what this show is giving me anymore.
Okay.
It's just a weird sort of sense of dread and a kind of hopelessness. I don't know.
I think I go into each episode hoping that it isn't as bad as the last.
Oh, God.
And in that sense, I feel like this show is a huge success.
I suppose so. I suppose so.
And by huge success, I mean not the worst episode.
Man.
It's not real good, though.
No, it's so fucking hard to watch. Where do you want to start?
So there are two plots in this, and I will give you the option of where we start.
Okay.
Plot one, or the A plot, as I can tell, is Michael, Amanda, Spock, and Sarek. The B plot is the wacky adventures of Ash and Pike.
Okay.
So
I'm kind of like, so my instinct is to want to do the Burnham stuff first, because I know we're going to hate on, it's impossible not to hate on anything that she's in. Maybe we get that out of the way, because the more we drink, I just feel like the easier it's going to be.
Okay.
To descend into a kind of repetitive hatred of her.
You know,
so
I can understand that logic. But speaking of things that have nothing at all to do with logic, Michael travels to Vulcan to catch up with her family. There are flashbacks. Sarek is trying to reach out with his mystical space elf powers, but Amanda Grayson has hidden Spock away within an anti-magic field.
I mean, that's literally what happens.
Yep.
Was the Katra is that a thing? I've never seen that before.
So they talk about Katra stones in Star Trek 2 and 3. No, 3. It's just 3.
Sure.
And I think probably some of Sarek's other appearance. Whatever. Okay, let me put it this way.
What the fuck is Vulcan, man? What is
don't-
going on that planet?
I don't think that specifically Vulcans had quite as much magic before.
Right?
So it's hard to say that Katra stones would block the magic when they didn't have it.
It's straight up Middle Earth now. Like, what the fuck? So Spock's mom. This plot was so hard to follow because, like, we just saw her. We just saw Amanda, not that many episodes ago, and Burnham is talking to Pike, and she's like, "Well, I don't know. I just feel like I need to go to Vulcan because that's what's in the screenplay." And then she's like, "And I haven't seen my mom or my dad in a while." It's like, bitch, you just saw it. What are you talking about? But fine, whatever. So then she goes to Vulcan, and then they have this weird interaction with I didn't understand, like, why Amanda was so sort of skeptical and mistrustful toward Burnham, because I was like, bitch, didn't you go to her in the first place?
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on here? Like,
my play-by-play, as I was watching this, I wrote down, why is Amanda Grayson so suddenly mad at Burnham when they practically made out the last time we saw them?
Right? Where did that... I don't know where that happened. And then, then it turns out that, I guess, when Spock stole the shuttle and ran away, he went to his house, which I guess Starfleet couldn't figure out. and went to his mommy, and then his mom hid him in, like, a rock temple, and put a Katra stone next to him.
No, so that was like a crypt, right? So it had the Katra stones of all of the line of Sarek.
Okay. There are some things I probably missed in this episode.
Well,
reasons,
I'm making some I'm making some assumptions because, like, when Sarek is there and he's explaining that essentially, like, what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Behind him is a whole wall of, like, elf heads that are made out of, like, this amber material that have LEDs inside them so that they glow. And I feel like those are supposed to be the Katra stones of, like, dozens of his ancestors.
Okay.
And I mean, like, not specifically said, but I feel like it's fair to assume that's what they were going for.
Sure. Okay. So, like, a family crypt, and he's hanging out there because Katra stones fucking block telepathy. Because Sarek has just been, like, sitting in a room for I don't know how long, trying to find Spock with his brain.
I think he said weeks.
Weeks, yeah. He's just been hanging out. Magic telepathy, reaching out across, I guess, the entire damn galaxy. Looking for his boy, which I guess Vulcans can do.
Yeah. Well, we saw it in the I think the very first episode of this. I think that was in the Vulcan Hello when he's like,
bitch, you gotta shoot first.
Daddy, what should I do? You gotta punch him in the face. Okay. Does that apply to my captain too? No. Well, no, I gotta go. Bye.
Oh my god. So, all right. So there's a couple of things. One, the Alice in Wonderland stuff is I can't do it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
That's the only book that was ever written, apparently.
I had a question about if you thought that was tired.
Oh god. Yeah, I can't handle it anymore. Don't tell me any more about Alice, please God. And then we find out that Spock had a learning disability.
Of course. You know, it's important that we make all of our superheroes a little bit more relatable by giving them, like...
Yeah. Dyslexia, I guess, is what he had.
Yeah, Vulcan dyslexia.
Vulcan dyslexia.
No, like, I thought it was kind of curious that... Okay, now we all predicted this. This was a prediction that we made that came true. If you're paying attention at home, person who likes Star Trek Discovery, the one of you, we predicted that essentially Michael Burnham would figure out the plot within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And essentially what happens is Spock is saying something like, you know, 8419.
Yeah, a bunch
47.
of bullshit numbers. It's a fucking J.J. Abrams plot, but yeah.
And she says immediately the numbers are backwards.
Yeah.
And
I don't even remember how she made that. She said something about like you're so good at mirrors or something.
So like this is my point specifically with Alice. So Alice in Wonderland, like first of all, they referred to it as I read Alice to Spock. Yeah. And you're like, well, one of the books is called The Adventures of Alice in Wonderland, and the second one, I believe, is called Through the Looking Glass. What Alice found or whatever. But like a looking glass is another word for a mirror. So of course the numbers are backwards. And even if you're not going to assume that through the looking glass would mean that the numbers are backwards, like some sort of high school level D&D riddle.
Yeah.
Isn't that like the easiest thing to do to figure out if it's a thing or not? Like
Yep. And then you just type it into Google, which is apparently all she did. And it was like, oh, it's coordinates.
Now I
feel like in reverse, it's also coordinates, but
no. Here's the thing. Fundamentally, using the bearing system to describe galactic locations has always been kind of silly, because I mean, how many stars might fall roughly in the same alignment based on trajectory from any given point? Yeah. That said, the coordinates that they give are 749 Mark 148. And the reason why that's silly is because essentially what that means is you have to spin the ship around twice, come 29 degrees to starboard, and then do half of a barrel roll to continue your journey.
Nice.
That is if you're starting. I think the galactic coordinates may start at Earth, but it may start at the center of the universe too. But that doesn't make a lot of sense because 148 is pretty close to straight up. It's a little bit more than, well, it's not straight up. It's like 58 degrees up.
Okay.
We know how this works because essentially they describe it in Data Lore, the episode of The Next Generation. It's so simple that a child explains it. Yeah. That's Wesley Crusher. He's a wunderkind.
He is.
But
doesn't know anything about drugs, but yeah, other than that.
Well, he's just so pure. Anyway, 749 Mark 148. This isn't, I'm not going to pretend like this isn't the first time that somebody has given coordinates in this manner that are fucked. Yeah. But I don't think that it's happened more than one or two other times. Because really what you should have is, like, there's no point in giving a mark that is over 180 and less than 270, because essentially that means that it's behind you. Right. So really what you'd be saying is a number that's between 0 and 360, mark, and a number that's between 0 and 90, or 270 and 359.9 or whatever. Okay. So it's just, I saw it and like, it's not a big deal. But then at the same time, it's like these people are so dumb that they don't understand something that a child can explain. Yeah. Yeah. And they think that you're dumb too. Yeah. And of course, then it's Talos 4. Yeah. 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 So we're going to go ruin Talos 4, I'm pretty sure. Because The Cage and the Menagerie weren't good episodes. I know. They're, in fact, amazing episodes. Yeah. The Cage is amazing by itself, and then the Menagerie is a fantastic rebuttal of the Cage. Really, really good. Yeah. And and arguably it would have already happened, and so you're not supposed to go there. We'll see if they're actually not supposed to go there if they address that in the plot. I don't know. See, I thought like it's in Pike's future, right? We're still. Yeah, there's some nerds on the internet who think it happened 3 years before this episode. All right, whatever. I mean, I don't really care. I think clearly, like the way this episode is written, it would have happened before the Cage, but it's stupid. It's stupid. I don't want to see the new. I did see like
I saw like the preview or whatever for the next episode. It looks like they didn't, they didn't Klingonify them at least, which is
Yeah, their heads don't look nearly as large or thoughtful.
Yeah.
And they kind of just look weird.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they just look weird. But it's just
as opposed to like this,
I just hate
this giant
hate
brain.
this. I hate this whole fucking storyline because we get more Burnham just crying for an unemotional Vulcan fucking human whatever she's supposed to be. God, she cries a lot.
Well,
and it's
I mean, are you more
tiresome.
upset that Burnham is crying or that Sarek is essentially brought to tears by his wife?
What the fuck was that? I will not lose another child because of I won't lose 2 children in one day. God damn it, dude. Just at least pretend to be a fucking Vulcan, man. You do not have to just shoot for melodrama. You're supposed to be the voice of reason, the voice of cold-hearted reason, but we can't even get that.
Well, goddamn. And okay, I have several problems with that entire scene. One of which is, I think, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but Amanda Grayson essentially either disowns Sybok or they say that he doesn't exist in this episode.
Yeah, I don't. So I thought I heard something about I don't know, man. There are aspects of it. I'm not 100% when I'm watching Discovery, but
yeah,
but yeah,
it's real hard to be invested.
I don't know where the fuck Sybok is supposed to be in any of this.
I mean, I never thought that Sybok made a whole ton of sense when it's like,
no.
Why didn't you tell me you had a brother? Now, the best answer to that is that Spock really just doesn't talk about himself a lot.
Yeah.
And fine.
Yeah.
And you can apply the same stupid logic to Burnham.
Yeah.
But this line seemed to me incredibly damaging to the idea that this is supposed to be one unified timeline. And
yeah.
And if Sybok is still out there and he's supposed to be this super smart guy, then why in the world would his father be like, well, all of my eggs in one basket sort of response to this?
Yeah.
And Amanda Grayson's nonsense about, I left a thing and Earth and feelings, and
I didn't understand any of that.
I hated it. I just hated it.
It doesn't make any sense. Cuz right, you're left with that interaction that Amanda has some kind of problem with the fact that she has to live on Vulcan with Sarek. And it's why are we introducing this into this relationship? The understanding right was that Amanda loves Sarek, right? Sarek loves Amanda. That relationship was interesting because it was a marriage between a Vulcan and a human. That's interesting by itself. You don't really need to explore it beyond that. But now that she's introduced this weird, you don't love me enough because you don't want to live on Earth with me bullshit. It's God, it's just a stupid. It just cheapens that relationship and injects a wholly unnecessary amount of melodrama into it. Because these are bad writers. But
well, you're wrong, Midget Radio, because melodrama is the best type of drama.
That's all there is. So now it's well, great. Now I have to believe that Amanda has some kind of unresolved regret and animosity toward her own husband that I've never seen before in any episode or movie of Star Trek. Now there's it's fucking stupid. And how ridiculous was that line where it's this is a wild, Sarek's this is a pretty wild abuse of my authority, right? The fact that she would decide to harbor Spock, a fugitive.
Yeah.
And it's that's a completely fair thing to say. And well, I don't live under your authority. He didn't say that in the first place, right? That's not what this is about. No one's subjugating you. It's you're using his office to do something that he doesn't believe in, you selfish bitch. What the fuck, man? It's a completely reasonable critique that she comes back and that she responds to with utter fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't live under your authority. It's like, well, nobody said you did. Nobody made that point. Like, we are talking about the Federation. We are talking about the fact that our son is a fugitive and that you're harboring him because of the office I hold. Like, you're utilizing that power in order to do this.
Well, I mean, it's
whatever.
Okay. Yeah. And it's insulting to Sarek to see this relatively ordinary character throw up a straw man, and he's just like, well, I just couldn't see it. I can't figure out the basis of this argument.
Yeah.
Well, you must be right, because your feelings are hurt, and feelings are tantamount to truth.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's what I taught my daughter.
Yep. That's why she's gotten so far.
I hated that whole thing, and
yeah,
that
it's terrible.
Oh, try again, husband. It's like,
I know, it's so stupid because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't because none of this is rational. I cannot just argue. I cannot argue with fucking feelings.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
Yeah, if you want to get into an argument with where feelings are the winning ticket, so to speak, then the Vulcan's gonna lose every time.
Yep. Yeah, you have them and I don't, so I guess I'm screwed.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating too because it cheapens it. The thing that's like interesting about Sarek and Amanda is that Sarek is like a full-blooded Vulcan, right?
Yeah.
And
he's
I
an
like
exceptional full-blooded Vulcan.
I like that he kind of threw that in her face a little bit, where she's like, it just shows you don't have any respect for humans and all that stuff. And it's like, well, if that was true, I would have married a fucking Vulcan, you know? And it's like that speaks to something that is in Sarek that he's probably not wholly comfortable with and doesn't totally want to admit to. That he does have, like, that's the thing that's interesting about Vulcans. It's not like they're born without emotions, you know? It's just that they have such an aversion to them that they've kind of ruled them out, you know? And Sarek's allowed a tiny piece of that. A tiny piece of that has blossomed, and Amanda is what made it blossom. You know, that's why that relationship is interesting, but this show is too stupid to understand that's part of why that relationship is so interesting, and that's what's kind of beautiful about it. Instead, they want to inject this this stupid kind of melodrama into it, this stupid conflict. Like,
it's also kind of the, like the medieval theory of love, right? Unrequited love. So like that the knight in this case is Sarek, and he can love a person from afar for what they are, but not engage in that. And in this case, we're not talking about a physical intimacy is the thing that they can't do, but it's the emotional intimacy that he always has to have it at sort of an arm's length.
Yeah.
And like the Vulcans are super interesting because like if you follow Spock, if you follow all the other Vulcans that come after Spock, they clearly have emotions, and they clearly do. Yeah. They are powerful things that they just they fight back with an even greater sense of purpose and personal will. Yeah. And they just, in spite of all of the magic that they have now, they do not have that simple strength of character that made us like Vulcans. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to both get at. Yeah. But it's just man, that scene was really fucking disappointing.
It was awful. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful, and it's impossible not to hate on Burnham. The whole scene where she's even asking for leave from Pike, and he's like, "I'm gonna assume you don't already have a bag packed," and it's like, God damn it. No, of course not. I would never do anything without your. And it's like the whole show like knows that she's gonna do whatever she wants, and we're supposed to like celebrate that. Like,
we're very tongue in cheek,
right? Yeah, like, oh, that's just Burnham. She just disobeys orders and does whatever she wants, and that's just how it is. And isn't she adorable? Like, no. It's just the worst. It's one of the worst things about her. And it makes Pike look like an idiot. But
Well,
What
this
are you
Pike,
gonna do?
this show does a lot of damage to Pike. This
It really does.
This particular episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Should we move into the B plot?
Yep. Yeah. Let's get off Burnham.
All right, there's a rift in time-space. It gives people glimpses into the future or the past. It would be irresponsible to take... Why does that sentence just not... Whatever. I was probably drunk when I was writing it. Anyway, no different than now. This story, the B plot, is very, very frustrating too.
Yeah.
Because essentially, we do see Pike return to his sort of, fuck you, Ash, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yes.
And then by the end of it,
My God.
he is admitting that he is wrong and he is a bad person.
Yeah. Which I feel like is what Pike's just going to do, I guess, every episode from now on.
Why does he have to cuck to everybody?
It is so unnatural the way this even comes about, right? Ash suddenly having really no relationship with Pike at all. No prior experience, none of that. Is like, hey man, the only reason you decided to pilot this shuttle into this fucking time rift is because you feel guilty that you didn't do enough in the war. What? That was out of fucking, like, as soon as he said that, I was like, my God, can we get one fucking scene where somebody's not trying to psychoanalyze somebody else? Because this is out of nowhere. It's completely fucking absurd. And Pike's initial reaction to that was beautiful, right? Go fuck yourself. You're going to burn this fuel. I don't give a shit. And if you don't, and we do make it back, we're going to put you in the brig because I'm the fucking captain. Do what I fucking tell you to do.
And I like some of his lines in this up until the end because it's like he'll say a thing and then he'll be like, "No, I don't want to do that." And he will say, literally, "That was not a suggestion, Mr. Tyler."
Mm-hmm. But Ash is like, "No, I have long hair and a lot of complicated feelings." So fucking piece of shit. And then Pike by the end of the episode is like, "You know what, man, you were right. That is why, like, I wanted to pilot the shuttle. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Like, just destroy." They really are like ruining Pike as a fucking captain. There's just this weird aversion on this show that, like, people got it, like, this, like, it's Starfleet, dude. It's essentially a military organization. People have to make decisions, and they have to do shit that they don't want to fucking do. And a lot of times, there is no happy middle ground. You just fucking do it. Yeah. And if you don't, there are consequences for it. I don't give a fuck what your feelings are or how wonderful you think your arguments are going to be. How worthy of drama those arguments are going to be. If they're supposed to incite applause or not. Like, you just have to do shit that you don't want to fucking do because someone's fucking telling you to do it. And
yeah,
God damn it. Like, that's just how it is. But it's not on this show. Not on this show. Apparently that's not okay.
It's honestly, the whole thing felt like a waste of time for the most part. Other than if you wanted to go into it for a character thing. And I'm sure that there's a good chance that they're going to use this in the future and it's going to turn into something even more dumb. But for right now, it's just like, this is an opportunity for Ash and the captain to repair or create a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So they go on this away mission together and they're piloting around a thing and you're like, yeah, it's kind of stupid that the captain is the best pilot naturally. And you're like,
right.
What's your helmsman doing?
I know. But it's like, that's acceptable Star Trek stupidity. But,
it is. Yeah. It is. And you let it go and you're just like, fine. Because, Riker's the best pilot on the Enterprise and we've seen it before. It's good enough.
Yeah.
But they go out there and they fire a probe and then weird things happen. It sends it back. It's a Matrix probe now. It's going to rip apart the ship.
Right. It's straight up out of the Matrix. Yeah.
And then And then at the end of it, he has to admit that he was just an asshole about it the whole time. You're just like, no.
Why?
Damn it, Pike.
He's the captain.
You're the only person. God, I hate every part of Ash Tyler at this point.
And what's so frustrating is that he was right. Like, Pike was right. They should have burned the fuel. Like, it was a signal. Like, all of that stuff made sense. But this weird fucking compulsion in this show that he's got to explain himself to Ash Tyler and his fucking crew. Why? He's the captain.
Yeah.
And they got back safe. They completed the fucking mission. Fuck you, Ash Tyler, if you had a difference of opinion. If your fucking feelings are hurt, nobody gives a shit. Like, God damn it.
Sometimes when you're in space...
No, we gotta find this middle ground.
Sometimes when you're in space, you find that your school bus is on the train tracks, and you only have a few seconds to act. And you can't argue about whether you're supposed to go forward or back.
Yeah.
You just gotta do what the captain says.
He's stupid. Made no fucking sense to me at all. And I hated that whole scene, too, because he's like... You know, Ash, you like really saved my life back there because the fucking Matrix robot was about to split me in half. And I was like, where is this coming from?
It wasn't,
because I saw the Matrix robot was on Ash and you shot it. You saved his fucking stupid ass. Like,
yeah.
What are we talking about here?
In a major disappointment where we had seen earlier that he shoots Ash, and you're like,
oh God, I know. And you're like, please, that it can't be true, but
but he fixed what went wrong.
I hate this show so much. Because when I searched for things that I liked, it was I liked the time rift stuff.
Yes.
No.
In concept, you run into the idea that the Discovery runs into a time rift.
Yeah.
The crew has to investigate the thing and whatever. Yeah. You're like, okay.
There's like weird, they keep like repeating themselves on the con, and you see like weird phantom images of what already happened or what's about to happen.
That could be
neat. I really liked a lot of the time stuff too. I liked even aspects of what Stamets and Tilly were talking about, that the ship's like in totally different aspect. I'm saying aspects, Tactic Angel, aspects. That there was a sort of there's this extra dimension, right, that they've got to calculate to try to figure out where the ship is, what its trajectory could be. You've got to include like time as like, I liked all of that except for you have hamster DNA, so you get it. Like,
yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing that really annoyed me, because it's like,
no, it's just so stupid. I'm like, why? Why does hamster DNA figure this out?
It allows him to divide numbers by irrational numbers.
What are you talking about?
And therefore,
God, I even like when Stamets... God, this show sucks. I really like when Stamets was like, trust the math, Tilly. I just liked that line by itself. And if he had just left it there, trust the math, but no, you gotta keep... Because this show is all about melodrama and feelings and shit. But more importantly, trust yourself.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Like... And to get to what you were talking about, like, how is it the Pike attributes his saving to Ash and not specifically to Stamets, who beamed himself through time and space?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. None of it made any sense. Like, there's so much that we have to accept, right? There's just so much that they throw in our face that they're like, no, this has always been the case. That Pike feels guilty apparently about the war, so guilty that he's going to sacrifice himself at every opportunity. Okay. Yeah, no, he's definitely seemed like that this many episodes into this show. Someone who's just looking to apparently atone for some fucking inactivity during the war. Give me a fucking break. One, so that by itself, that's a serious motivating factor for him as a character. Two, that Ash Tyler, of all people, knows that? How? Like, how?
Well, he has such a remarkable understanding of human beings since he isn't one.
Since that makes a lot of sense. God, and there even that whole exchange between them where Pike was like, "Didn't you murder somebody on board of this ship?" Ash was like, well, what are you gonna do? I got a Klingon in me. I don't know. Like, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. I know you don't like it, but like, what the hell? What is this? What the hell kind of conversation is that? I got a murderous Klingon in me. What are you gonna do? I just gotta deal with it, I guess.
It's
sometimes I'm gonna freak out and break necks. It's just how it is aboard the Discovery. Like, oh my God,
it's not good, and like it's really disappointing because Pike was cool in the first 2 episodes, and then he's kind of sat out 4 episodes since then, and now he's like taking he's like getting let. Yeah, damn it.
I feel like he's just got to keep apologizing for himself or playing second fiddle to Burnham.
Yeah,
that's it.
What I was trying to say was yet another demotion in the screenwriter's room. There's just so much whiskey. I just can't take it. But like he's getting yet another demotion in the screenwriter's room, and now he's on to full on. Like everything that I do cannot possibly be right. And it's just annoying because like Anson Mount is the best screen presence that they have.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
And they're completely squandering this. And they're doing stupid stuff. But if they pay more attention to characters other than Michael Burnham, you could probably forgive it.
Yeah.
But they don't.
They don't. And now Robot Lady sees 3 red dots, and I don't know. Apparently, that's a bad thing.
She, because
Matrix Robot from the future. Yeah, from Matrix Robot from the future. I mean, none of this makes any sense.
I have a feeling that that's not going to go a lot of really great places. But
no, I'm sure it's not.
But man, isn't it exciting?
I mean, there is part of me that's like a little happy that Burnham will be taking Spock to Talos 4, because that means like, okay, now Burnham's still not on the Discovery, so that's good.
Did you think that it was fucking weird that like she's hiding on this asteroid, and that Sections 31 ships are so well known that the computer inside of a shuttlecraft can even track and identify them as specifically Section 31 ships by name?
Yeah. Section 31 is not doing a very good job of being Section 31.
Section 31 is the worst secret agency ever.
And what in God's name was that exchange between Michelle Yeoh and Burnham where she's like, hey, you need to like rescue Spock because we're going to dissect his brain.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell was that even about? And she's like, God, this show is so badly written. I know more about you than you could possibly know, but that is a conversation for another time. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, the other problem is that we learn that
Der Raumführer, Kaiser aller Baumen Planeten,
Giorgio is also like in charge of Section 31 because it's so important to all of Starfleet that they don't offend God's gift to the universe, Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
So they can't let anyone know that Leland had some responsibility for killing.
Oh God, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this.
Okay, here's the thing. If it's Section 31 and we move forward into the future, into like the DS9 territory, they'd say, I fucking killed your parents.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Go tell her. Tell her now, bitch. Like, shit.
It was either you or the entire Federation, and I decided that I would kill your parents, and I would do it again, and I'd spit in your face and tell you all about it.
Yep.
And that's Section 31. You're just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
That makes... God. Makes no sense.
I'm in charge now.
Yeah. Really? Based on that. Based on that. We don't want to offend a science officer on a starship, so I guess.
It's not good.
Makes no fucking sense sense at all. God damn it. Is there no one in the writer's room on this show that's like, guys, this doesn't make sense?
No.
And what the hell? And God. So, I mean, you can tell this is like a full-on Kurtzman show now at this point, because it's like, right, they have that exchange, and Michelle Yeoh's like, punch me, make it look good, like you attacked me, and then you ran in to rescue Spock, and it's like, yeah, okay.
It's getting a kung fu
Why
fight.
is there a whole ridiculous fight scene? Why is it not just punch her in the face, knee her in the stomach, whatever?
Did you notice
Kick her in
that the
puss.
runtime for
God.
this show was about 15 minutes less than normal?
I did, yeah. Actually, it was a straight 40 minutes, including the fucking theme song and all of that crap, and the preview for the next episode. Yeah.
So I get the sense that, well, for one, I'm sure that they can cut out 10 minutes of the show just for budget reasons.
Yeah.
But also, like, the reason why that episode or that fight scene had to be like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
It felt like very long.
It was long. Yeah.
Like mile 54 or whatever the hell we watched.
Yeah.
27? I don't remember.
I think 22.
22? Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, it felt very long. And they're like, okay, if the idea is that you're supposed to make it look good and go down, you don't need to try this hard.
No. I mean, look, I'm happy to see that Michelle Yeoh can still get her feet that high. That's awesome. But
to be fair, it was a much better. Like I had given the fight choreography in show a couple. This is the episode with the decapitated child head.
Oh yeah.
The fight choreography in that was just abysmal.
Yeah.
This was actually all right.
Yeah.
Now the problem is
fine.
I didn't care and I didn't like any
No.
of the characters, and I kind of hoped that like a bulkhead would explode and expose them both to the vacuum of space.
Oh god, that'd be amazing.
But like that didn't happen. Like so I didn't really care. I feel like they just padded this out so it had to be longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Just for the sake of getting there. And like having people throw punches is cheap when there's no CG involved.
Yeah. And there was a weird, well, it was weird. Like it was weird when, so she got Spock into the, whatever, toward the shuttle bay, I guess. And Michelle Yeoh shot Burnham.
Or shot
she got hit in the shoulder. Right. But I thought she got hit in the shoulder.
You get winged? I don't know. I
was like, well, what, doesn't that do something?
was
she on, was it on stun? I don't know.
probably
really
dead to the world at that point.
It doesn't matter, but God, yeah, I don't know, man. I hate watching this show. It makes me just feel sad, and I don't know. I don't understand anything that's going on. You know what I think it is? It's that everything in this show is at such a fever pitch, and I don't care, and I don't know how to resolve all of that. Like, I know based on the signals from the people that are on the TV that I'm supposed to really care about what's going on, and I don't.
Yeah. Yep.
There's just some conflict there. I don't know. Can't quite resolve, but like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I care? Oh wait, no, it's just that this show is really terrible.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that you're a rational human being, and you aren't, and you haven't turned your mind off.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the things that I wrote down is Ethan Peck Leonard Nimoy, and I don't feel like this episode is a fair judgment. I guess we'll see in the future.
We'll see. Yeah.
But damn it, I didn't like any of this.
No, it's just annoying because now, like, it just makes Spock look like sort of a tragic figure, and like it's just irritating already where they're going. He has some kind of Vulcan dyslexia. It's like he's already half human. Like, I already get that he's going to be somewhat alienated from the rest of the Vulcans. I understand that. But now it's like, oh, there's a learning disability, and apparently he's crazy. And he's quoting the foundations of logic, and also Alice in Wonderland, which is apparently the opposite of logic. It's so basic. They're just turning Spock into such a basic character. It sucks.
Yep, it does suck. I mean, the fact that we were right, that Burnham would figure out the problem within 30 seconds,
Yeah.
is a fundamental problem with this show, and
Yeah.
And like, there's really no reason to belabor it. It's just Michael Burnham is too fucking perfect.
Yeah.
And everyone around Michael Burnham suffers for it.
Yeah.
And Michael Burnham isn't interesting because of it. So
Yeah.
it's just bad.
Yep. Somebody disagree with us.
Yeah,
That's
write
why
that
we're
shit
wrong.
down in the comments.
Yep.
Assholes. Come at me, bro. Anyway, do we have anything else we need to add to this?
No.
All right. Well, then, thank you, everyone, for listening to the Wednesday Night Gentleman on the latest Star Trek Discovery episode. Thank you for joining us on this brief trek. Think of hitting that like or subscribe button and join us next time for more treks in the future. For now, it is time for us to boldly go. We will see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.